Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories. I never imagined a casual dinner party could shift the very foundation of my comfortable life. At 57, I'd settled into a pleasant rhythm. Retirement mornings in the garden, afternoons reading historical novels, and quiet evenings with my husband, Mark. We'd been married for over 30 years, and I believed our days of surprises were behind us. How wrong I was. It started innocently enough. A Friday night dinner hosted by Mark's longtime colleague, Jeff, and his wife, Allison. Jeff was a younger man, about 48, charismatic and witty, with striking silver hair and a confident demeanor that filled any room. We'd known them casually for a few years, our interactions limited mostly to company events. Allison was a delightful host, warm and effortlessly elegant. I admired her knack for turning even simple meals into events. Their home was a charming suburban colonial with neatly trimmed hedges and a welcoming front porch. As we stepped inside, soft jazz played from hidden speakers, blending harmoniously with the scent of roasting garlic and fresh herbs from the kitchen. Candles flickered warmly on the dining table, casting soft, dancing shadows along the walls painted in shades of beige and pale blue. The cozy ambience immediately put me at ease. "Come on in, Melanie. So glad you made it," Allison said, her voice as soothing as the jazz melodies around us. She embraced me warmly, her genuine friendliness relaxing my nerves. "Thanks, Allison," I replied, smiling broadly. "It smells wonderful in here." As the four of us settled around the dinner table, Jeff poured wine, his deep voice guiding us through humorous anecdotes about his recent trip abroad. Conversation flowed smoothly, laughter coming easily. Mark was in great spirits, clearly enjoying the opportunity to unwind away from his stressful job. As dessert was served, a heavenly chocolate mousse garnished with raspberries, Jeff caught my eye. "Melanie, I heard from Mark that you're a talented gardener. I could use some tips. My roses aren't exactly thriving." I laughed gently, flattered by his acknowledgement. "I wouldn't say talented, Jeff, just patient. But I'd be happy to take a look." "Great. Perhaps after dinner?" His eyes lingered briefly, and a subtle warmth crept up my neck. I brushed the sensation aside, convinced I was imagining things. After dessert, Jeff guided me through a sliding door onto a spacious patio bathed in soft moonlight. The cool evening breeze whispered gently through surrounding trees, mingling with the faint fragrance of jasmine blossoms from Allison's garden beds. Mark and Allison remained inside, deeply engrossed in conversation about vacation destinations. Jeff led me to a row of roses struggling beneath delicate strings of outdoor lights. He knelt down, examining the leaves, and motioned for me to join him. "See how the edges are turning yellow?" Jeff asked, his voice softer now, carrying a tone of genuine curiosity. I leaned closer, aware suddenly of our proximity. My heartbeat quickened inexplicably. "Looks like they might need more nitrogen," I offered, striving to keep my voice steady. Jeff turned toward me, his expression serious yet gentle. "You know, Melanie, I envy what you and Mark have. After 20 years of marriage, Allison and we seem to have drifted apart." His sudden honesty caught me off guard. "Every marriage has ups and downs, Jeff. It's normal." He nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe it is. But lately, I feel something's missing." The vulnerability in his eyes resonated deeply. Before I could respond, his hand brushed lightly against mine. The brief, innocent contact electrified me, sending a rush of guilt mixed with unexpected excitement coursing through my veins. "I'm sorry," Jeff quickly pulled back, genuine embarrassment in his voice. "I didn't mean to cross a line." I hesitated, my emotions swirling. My instinct was to retreat, but another, deeper instinct compelled me to offer kindness instead. "It's all right," I said quietly, surprising even myself. "You're just being honest." Jeff looked up, gratitude softening his handsome features. We shared a quiet moment, acknowledging the tension gently but unmistakably. I felt deeply seen in a way I hadn't for years, though I didn't fully understand it yet. Returning inside felt surreal. Mark's familiar smile was reassuring, but it also carried a new weight, one I couldn't yet place. I glanced at Jeff across the room, noticing he'd retreated into himself, maintaining polite distance. The evening concluded amicably, but my mind remained tangled with the delicate complexity of what had just transpired. Later that night, as Mark slept peacefully beside me, I stared at the ceiling, heart restless with questions. Was my reaction simply flattery from unexpected attention, or had Jeff awakened something dormant within me? Could a brief moment of connection truly disrupt the tranquility I'd cherished for decades? I realized with discomfort and curiosity that our pleasant, predictable life suddenly felt incomplete. Yet beneath the confusion, I sensed a personal awakening, like a delicate bud opening to the first light of dawn, fragile but undeniably alive. I didn't know it yet, but this unexpected evening was merely the beginning of a journey towards self-discovery, a path illuminated by subtle moments, lingering looks, and the unspoken connection Jeff and I now shared. What awaited us would challenge every boundary we'd carefully built, forcing us both to confront truths we'd long avoided. And you won't believe what happened next. In the days following that unforgettable dinner, my life appeared outwardly unchanged. Yet beneath the familiar routines, morning walks in the garden, afternoons with tea and a book, and evenings watching old movies with Mark, a quiet unrest began to take root within me. I found myself frequently replaying that moment on the patio, Jeff's hand brushing mine, and his unexpected admission. Each recollection stirred emotions I'd nearly forgotten existed. It had been years since I'd felt so intensely seen or desired, even if briefly. But beneath the rush of these feelings lingered a gnawing guilt. Mark was my husband, my lifelong partner, and I'd loved him dearly. Yet something about Jeff's vulnerability, his openness, had touched a neglected part of my heart. One sunny afternoon, I stood lost in thought beside my prized lilacs, gently pruning away wilted blossoms. The garden was usually my sanctuary, filled with peaceful silence and clarity, but today my mind refused to settle. "Melanie, you have a visitor." Mark's voice interrupted from the back porch. Turning, my heart leaped into my throat. Jeff stood near Mark, casually dressed in a blue button-down shirt and jeans, his expression warm but careful. My pulse quickened immediately, but I forced myself into calmness, greeting him with a steady smile. "Sorry for dropping by unannounced," Jeff said gently, approaching slowly. "I was hoping to talk more about those roses, but if you're busy—" "No, it's fine," I answered quickly, sensing my voice betray a hint of eagerness. Mark smiled, completely unaware of the storm swirling quietly between Jeff and me. "I'll leave you gardening experts to it," Mark chuckled, returning to the house. Jeff and I stood quietly together, our silence thick with words unspoken. Around us, birds chirped cheerfully, oblivious to the tension crackling subtly beneath our pleasant surface. Eventually, Jeff cleared his throat, breaking our silent standoff. "Melanie, I wanted to apologize again for the other night," he began quietly, sincerity lining every word. "I crossed a line, and I've felt terrible about it ever since." I studied his face carefully, noticing genuine remorse in his blue eyes. My chest tightened, a strange mix of relief and disappointment mingling within me. "You don't have to apologize," I reassured him softly. nothing happened. He nodded slowly, stepping closer, his voice barely above a whisper. But something did happen. We both felt it. My breath caught as Jeff's gaze locked firmly onto mine. He spoke softly but earnestly, each word carefully chosen. "I know it's wrong, Melanie, and I've tried ignoring it, but I can't stop thinking about you," he confessed quietly. "I haven't felt this kind of connection in years." A wave of warmth flooded through me, swiftly replaced by a wave of confusion. "Jeff, I'm married. Happily married." "I know," Jeff responded gently. "And the last thing I want is to disrupt your life. But I needed you to know you awakened something in me, something I'd forgotten was possible." For a brief moment, silence hung heavily between us, broken only by the rustling leaves overhead. My heart thudded loudly in my chest, torn between loyalty to Mark and the unmistakable pull toward Jeff's honesty. I looked away, emotions battling fiercely within me. "I appreciate your honesty," I finally whispered. "And I'll admit, your words touched me deeply. But we can't act on this. It's not fair to anyone." Jeff exhaled, clearly struggling with his own internal battle. He reached out cautiously, taking my hand gently in his. It felt warm and reassuring, and my fingers instinctively tightened around his. "I respect your decision," he assured me softly. "All I want is your friendship. If that's all we can have, it's enough." I nodded slowly, though the intensity in his eyes suggested otherwise. "Friendship," I echoed, softly releasing his hand. Nothing more. The following weeks brought quiet turmoil. Jeff and I exchanged occasional messages about gardening tips or small talk about the weather, careful to maintain boundaries. Yet each conversation, however brief, subtly strengthened our emotional bond. I found myself waiting for his messages with an anticipation that frightened me as much as it thrilled me. One evening, Mark casually mentioned that Jeff and Allison would be joining us at a company-sponsored gala event downtown. My heart raced at the thought of seeing Jeff again, this time in a crowded room where our subtle tension might prove difficult to conceal. When the night arrived, the grand ballroom was alive with soft music, sparkling lights, and elegantly dressed couples mingling gracefully. Mark guided me inside, gently resting his hand on my lower back, his presence comforting yet unaware of the turmoil within me. I spotted Jeff immediately across the room, his eyes meeting mine instantly, igniting a flame deep within my chest. Throughout dinner, conversation flowed effortlessly among the four of us. Yet beneath the polished laughter and polite exchanges, Jeff and I shared brief, stolen glances, each gaze charged with silent longing, each subtle smile carrying deeper meanings. After dinner, guests drifted onto the dance floor. Mark, always the perfect gentleman, extended his hand to Allison for a friendly dance. Laughing politely, they joined other couples beneath the shimmering lights, leaving Jeff and me alone. We hesitated briefly before Jeff gently offered his hand, voice low and inviting. "May I?" Feeling a rush of nerves, I slowly placed my hand in his, allowing him to guide me onto the dance floor. My heart thundered as we began swaying gently, the world narrowing until it held only Jeff and me. "You look beautiful tonight," he whispered, voice warm and sincere. I felt my cheeks flush, my throat tightening with unexpected emotion. "Jeff," I began softly, sensing the dangerous path we were approaching. We agreed to remain friends. He pulled back slightly, looking deeply into my eyes, his expression tender yet determined. "Friendship doesn't stop me from seeing how incredible you are. And it doesn't stop me from caring deeply." We continued moving slowly together, our closeness both comforting and torturous. My mind screamed caution, Yet every instinct urged me closer to this man who understood my hidden self. Before I realized it, the song ended. We paused, holding each other's gaze, silently acknowledging the delicate boundary we'd crossed. "I shouldn't feel this way," I whispered shakily. Yet somehow, I can't seem to help it. Jeff touched my cheek gently, his fingertips sending shivers down my spine. "Neither can I, but we'll respect whatever you decide. I promise." I stepped away, heart heavy with longing and uncertainty, silently grateful for his respect yet haunted by the passion we both felt. Rejoining Mark, I wore a polite mask, smiling while silently wondering how much longer I could deny the truth blossoming within me. Little did I know, the events of this night would push our delicate relationship toward an even greater challenge, a revelation so unexpected it would forever change the direction of our lives. And you truly won't believe what happened next. Days turned into weeks, each one adding layers of quiet longing and confusion to my heart. I tried so hard to suppress my feelings, to bury them beneath gardening projects, morning walks, and routine dinners with Mark. Yet Jeff's words echoed softly within me, stirring parts of myself I hadn't acknowledged in decades. One rainy afternoon, as I sorted through old photographs in our cozy sitting room, the familiar chime of my phone startled me. My heart quickened, knowing instinctively who it was. Jeff's message was brief yet powerful. "Melanie, can we talk? I promise it's important." My breath hitched, anxiety mixing with anticipation. After a moment's hesitation, I replied, "Of course. Where?" He suggested meeting at a quiet coffee shop on the edge of town, a neutral ground where we could speak privately, but publicly enough to maintain respect for our marriages. I agreed, heart pounding with uncertainty, my conscience troubled yet desperate to understand his urgency. The cafe was warm and inviting, filled with the scent of fresh coffee and the soft hum of quiet conversations. Jeff awaited me at a secluded table in the corner, hands clasped tightly, eyes revealing an intensity I'd never seen before. "Thanks for meeting me," he said quietly, gesturing for me to sit. He seemed tense yet deeply resolved, his expression serious. "What is it, Jeff?" I asked softly, barely hiding my nervousness. "Has something happened?" He sighed heavily, running a hand through his silver hair, eyes filled with quiet anguish. "Allison knows." My stomach dropped sharply, my heart racing in panic. "Knows? About us?" Jeff nodded slowly. "She sensed something at the gala. She confronted me yesterday. I couldn't lie, Melanie. I told her everything. How I feel, our conversations, even though nothing's actually happened." An icy chill gripped my heart, panic rising in my chest. "Jeff, I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he reassured gently, eyes pleading. "But Allison and I agreed on something important. I needed to speak openly with you and clarify what comes next." "What comes next?" I echoed weakly, suddenly fearful of losing the peaceful life I'd carefully protected. Jeff took my hand gently, steadying my trembling fingers. His touch was comforting yet intensified my turmoil. "I told Allison I'd respect whatever choice you make. Melanie, if you choose to walk away, I promise I'll accept it. But if you feel even half of what I do, then we need to face it honestly." His sincerity was palpable, his vulnerability deeply moving. Tears pricked my eyes as I struggled to find my voice. "Jeff, you've brought out feelings I thought I'd buried long ago. But Mark, he's been my life for over 30 years. He squeezed my hand gently, compassion filling his eyes. "I know. And I'd never ask you to betray that. But can you honestly deny the connection we found? Isn't it worth at least acknowledging?" My heart ached, pulled fiercely between loyalty and longing. Deep down, I knew Jeff was right. The emotional bond we'd formed, quietly yet powerfully, couldn't simply vanish. We owed ourselves, and our spouses, the truth. After a long pause, I spoke carefully, voice shaking with honesty. I can't deny what I feel. You've reminded me of parts of myself I'd almost forgotten. But hurting Mark terrifies me. I don't want to lose him, or hurt Allison either. Jeff nodded, understanding deeply etched in his face. I feel the same. But I also believe hiding the truth hurts more in the end. Maybe being honest will help all of us figure out what comes next. We sat in thoughtful silence, absorbing the weight of his words. Outside, the rain softly pattered against the cafe windows, mirroring our quiet reflection. I need to talk with Mark, I finally whispered, feeling both relieved and terrified by the admission. He deserves honesty. Jeff squeezed my hand reassuringly, releasing it gently. Whatever happens, Melanie, I'll be here, whether as a friend or something more. I won't pressure you, but know you're not alone in this. We parted with quiet understanding, emotions tangled but clear. Driving home through the gray drizzle, I rehearsed the conversation I dreaded yet knew was necessary. Mark deserved the truth, even if it hurt. That evening, after dinner, as we sat quietly together in the living room, I summoned the courage to speak. My heart pounded fiercely, anxiety rising sharply within me. Mark, I need to talk with you, I began gently, my voice betraying nervousness. He lowered his newspaper slowly, looking at me with mild concern. Everything all right, Melanie? I took a deep breath, heart aching as I found his familiar, comforting eyes. Something happened recently, something unexpected. Nothing physical, but emotionally, I felt drawn to someone else. His expression shifted quickly from confusion to quiet hurt. His voice was gentle, yet strained. Jeff. Surprised by his intuition, I nodded slowly, guilt tightening my chest. Yes. Mark exhaled deeply, eyes distant yet composed. I noticed something at the gala, the way he looked at you, and how you looked at him. I never meant for this to happen, I pleaded softly, tears escaping down my cheeks. You've been my entire life, Mark. I love you. But this feeling, it's awakened something inside me, something powerful, and I had to be honest. He studied me thoughtfully, quiet sadness in his eyes. After a moment, he reached for my hand gently, startling me. I appreciate your honesty, Melanie. You could have hidden this from me, and you didn't. That matters. His response surprised me deeply, intensifying the guilt I felt. Mark, I'm so sorry. He shook his head, voice quiet yet firm. Don't apologize for being human. 30 years is a long time. Love changes. People grow. I'm hurt, yes. But I understand. You deserve honesty too. My heart broke quietly, overwhelmed by his grace and compassion. I don't know what to do now. I feel lost. Mark squeezed my hand gently, sighing deeply. Take some time. Figure out what your heart truly wants.